I remember the moment I found out that I was going to have a daughter and how scared I was.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 2 weeks after that was the first time I've ever had a panic attack, an anxiety attack. I had an anxiety attack in the hyperbaric chamber. Never experienced this. I'm a macho guy. Whatever it was, I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
I had an anxiety attack in the hyperbaric chamber to where I literally thought it could be it.
What were you thinking about at that moment to make you have that anxiety attack?
I was preparing for my third professional fight. Now, keep in mind, I lost the second professional fight.
Okay.
And it was about 8 months in between. And now, throw on, I'm going to have a child. Now, throw on, I have $17 in my bank account. Now, throw on that I'm living with a friend on a friend's couch. Now I'm going to have a child. And I just remember thinking, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. And I'm in the hyperbaric chamber and I usually sleep in there and then I wake up when it's decompressing. But I woke up and it was still going.
Yeah.
And so I'm just in there thinking, I'm just in there with my thoughts. And I start thinking, wow, okay, I just lost my second fight. What if this third one, if I lose this third one too? I have a daughter coming. Oh my God, I have $17 in the bank account. I can't even go on a date right now. Like, all these are going through my mind. And I start sweating. Next thing you know, my heart starts racing. Oh, I'm like, calm down, relax. It's okay. So, and I'm having this conversation with myself. Relax, it's okay. But I'm in the room and it's dark in the room. They close the door and they turn the lights off because I usually sleep in there. And now I'm no one around, no one to let me out. And now I'm panicking.
Yep.
And I'm drenched. Now I'm dripping sweat. And all of a sudden I'm tapping on the window and all of a sudden a nurse comes in and turns the light on and the machine starts to decompress. So I hit it. I don't think they knew that I was having an anxiety attack. I think they just knew, the time was up. As soon as she walked in, the time was up and it started to decompress. So I was like, okay, I'm about to get out of here. But I remember driving home thinking, wow, I just had an anxiety attack. And from that moment, I went through with it. I had my third professional fight, which I ended up winning and won the fourth and won the fifth. And then going through the Ultimate Fighter and having my daughter and still struggling and going through that moment. I knew what that did to me, having her. Yeah. And to get to the point where now I got to the goal, I got to where I wanted to be and I wanted to be world champion. I'm here, and to be able to share that with her, holding her in there, it broke me on the inside. I couldn't even hide it. I could have tried to be as macho as possible, but there's no way. You could just see, I would have been.
I loved it. I loved it, mate. And I'm really glad you did that as a fan because it let us know who the real Kamaru Usman is. In that moment, a proud dad was the real person. It wasn't about the belt. It was more about your child. And when you said to her, I want you to remember this moment because in years to come, we're going to watch this back together and you're going to know Daddy did it. And it was perfect. It was beautiful moment, man, honestly.
It floors me. Even now, like, she makes fun of me because I'm so, like, I'll be silly. I'm so silly around her. Mm-hmm. And she makes fun of me. And then when we go places and people are like, oh, get a picture. And she'll make certain comments. Daddy, why does everyone want to take a picture with you?
I love that. I love it, bro. Honestly, I love it. And the funny thing is she's just brought out a totally different side to you, mate. And when I watch your videos on social and stuff, you can see, if anything, you're the child, and she's just looking at you like, "What are you acting like this for?" Like straight face.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
I love it, mate, and it's great to see. And going back to the hyperbaric chamber, I've got experience with them because I used to be a diver. People love that I've mentioned that because I always talk about it in stories. But when you're in there, people don't understand if you've never been in there before. Once that door's shut, it's like being in a jail cell. Like ironically, you're pressurized, and what was going through your head was all the pressure in your life as well. It's some poetic shit because you're literally racking your brains, and I can totally understand how going in there in the dark and thinking about all this pressure on yourself and being a professional fighter and having no wonder you had a panic attack. Have you had any since then?
Yes, I have. And I think that was the start of making me human again. Because before that, I was just, didn't matter what it was. Let's do it. This was tough. Let's do it. I just go through it. And now I think I've had two more. I've had two more since then. One was actually on a plane, on a private plane.
Again, a pressure. And both times, a pressure.
Exactly.
Wow.
I was on a private plane, and before we took off, they told me that, it's only a 4 hour flight, but towards the last 35, 40 minutes, we'll get a little turbulence. And I knew that. And so I was prepared for it. I was in there, it's just me, the flight attendant, the two pilots, and we're flying, and everything's smooth. And, I almost kind of forgot that they had mentioned that. And we're there, and then all of a sudden it starts getting a little bit of turbulence. And as soon as I get that, my mind is triggered by what has happened to me in the hyperbaric chamber. Triggered, boom. Now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, why do I feel the same as I felt then? Now my mind is going, what if this. And I'm like, no, because it's like a rabbit hole. Once you fall in, it just starts to spiral.
Yeah. So
now I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying to pull myself out mentally. I'm like, relax. I'm talking to myself. And it's the flight attendant. She's looking at me. It's like a 10-seater. So she's looking at me. She's a couple of seats in front, but she can see me and I can see her. And I'm like, I asked her for some tea. Can I get some tea? And so she turns to make me tea. As soon as she turns her back to make me tea, I'm freaking out. In my mind, I'm like, yo, what if this plane goes? What should happen? I can't see my daughter. Oh my God, so she makes me tea. I grab the tea and I start drinking, and I'm drinking the tea, and I'm just, now I'm doing breathing exercises in there, and I could tell she knew that something was wrong. And so she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm all good. And and eventually the pilot goes, all right, we're preparing for landing. I'm like, I'm going to get off this plane soon.
Yeah.
And I got out, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, that's real. It really truly happens, because when you're going through that moment, you just, nothing, it's in your head, but it feels like I'm going to die. Yeah. That's what it feels like. And I used to always, when I was younger, I was like, why can't they just turn it off? Yep. Now I understand that struggle, and it's a tough one, but those hopefully that's the last one that I will get. But I think just maturing through life, certain things bring out certain chapters in certain situations. So
I don't think it's a coincidence though that because I'm not saying we're the same person by any means, but one of the qualities I feel like I share with you is that ability to look down the street and around the corner as a way of anticipating all the possibilities so that I can prepare myself as best as I can to control the outcome, which I guess is what, it's made you a great fighter. But once you're in a chamber or an aeroplane, that control is removed. You are at the mercy of whatever may happen. And that is probably in the brain where it's gone, I don't like this. I can't prepare for anything. There is no outcome I can control. It's the pilot. Fuck. And I kind of have a similar feeling sometimes on planes. So that kind of makes sense to me.
That's great. It's crazy that you say that, because that was one of the thoughts that I had on that private plane was, I can't, we're in the air. We're flying over a different country.
Yep.
I can't just say, hey, land this now.
Yep.
Or if I can't, it's not a car. Hey, pull over.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I remember having that exact thought at that moment. Like, wow, I can't just tell him to stop, to land right now. So, yeah, no, I completely understand that.